got some updates about Goliath Ventures and some things that my Avengers have been looking into, which I'll share with you. However, tonight isn't about just one scam, one platform, or one bad actor. Tonight is about something far bigger and far more dangerous than most people realise. For years, we've been fighting fraud, one case at a time, one victim, one report, and one complaint form. But the battlefield has shifted, and most people are still using the wrong map. What we're facing now isn't chaos, it isn't bad luck, it isn't amateurs getting lucky online. This is organised industrial-scale fraud. Systems built on identity abuse, psychological manipulation, and financial extraction. Operating at a speed law enforcement simply cannot match using traditional methods. I've published a new blog, and it's backed by a 300-page data-driven report that shows what really is happening behind the scenes and how fraud has professionalized, how identity itself has become a weapon, and why the advanced victims are given the advice victims are giving, just report it, is often a false sense of safety. Now, I use ChatGPT a lot, I use AI, and often AI keeps saying, give us screenshots, make sure you have everything well documented. And I'm always telling AI to scrub that out, because I don't believe that is the way that you are going to potentially, if any doubt, get money back just by showing a few screenshots. However, sometimes, yes, you do need evidence, but these scams aren't even getting in the courtroom. So this isn't about fear-mongering. It's documentation, it's evidence, and it's a warning. I want to walk you through this report and what it actually shows and why it matters right now and why the way we fight fraud has to change fast. Because this is no longer a war of awareness, it's a war of adaptation. We need to be adaptable. And if we won't adapt, we won't just lose money, we'll lose people. So let's get into it. Right, so what I've done, I've put together a blog, and you can see me there sitting in the armchair having a bourbon, reading Identity Fraud Report. Now, we are going to go through this and have a look through this in a minute. There is a link on this blog, and you can actually go down there and download this amazing 300-page report on fraud for 2025, 2026. But before we get started, I just want to share a couple of interesting things that may be interesting to those people who are starving for information about Goliath Ventures. If you haven't been using Reddit, I would solely recommend getting into Reddit and just searching for Goliath Ventures. There is a ton of activity going on at the moment, and I don't know why these people don't reach out to me and ask for help. I have got contacts. I've got the head investigator for Goliath Ventures Inc. basically at my fingertips, and I've been putting together reports for people that have lost their money to Goliath Ventures. And I'm asking people to give us their sponsor, the original contract, how they paid the money into Goliath, any screenshots, full correspondence with the partner that they signed up under, how they were introduced to it. Those things sometimes seem to be a bit of a problem for some people giving me that information. But if you give me that information, I put together basically a package to go off to the law enforcement that are investigating Goliath Ventures Inc. And they will contact you without my knowledge, without my whatever, and they will deal with you directly. But I need to make the introduction. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want what happened with one of our first people. They overwhelmed the investigators with documents, and it was just all chaos, and it got too blurry, and it took them a week before they caught up with the person, and it got messy. So I can put it together as a tidy, literally a one-pager explaining your predicament or where you are at, and then I can present it to them with your phone numbers, your details, and they will take over the investigation. That's an offer I'm doing free of charge. I don't want anything back. I'm not going to make any claims about getting your money back or jumping the queue, but let me help you. But in the meantime, I see people posting comments here in Reddit. Now, I don't have a Reddit account because every time I do, it gets removed. Somebody does in Reddit doesn't like me. But look, read some of these messages that you're finding in Reddit. They're actually quite breathtaking. And they're really good. There's a lot of really good practical advice in here. Now, there was one I did see just this morning, and I thought I wanted to bring that up, but I can't see it. It said the truth is coming forward against Goliath. Nothing. Oh, like, I don't mean to be laughing, but you have to go through there. I don't really like using Reddit, and especially since I don't have an account. But if you go in here and search for ink, is it ink? I'm sure there was a message that I missed 26 days ago. So did Goliath Ventures... let's have a wee listen to some of these.
Isn't this the time when Goliath is supposed to pay out? Another month has come. Any payouts? I saw somewhere that some people did get paid randomly over the last 2 months. Not sure why some seem to be getting paid while it sounds like most are not.
Well, I can assure you that in the last 10 days, somebody has been paid. And on the 10th of December, they also paid somebody else, even though they claim that they have got no way of paying people, which is absolutely incredible. So do go through here. Goliath investigations. And I have no, I don't even know how to say it, no influence on any of the comments here. This is new to me.
Goliath Ventures is presently the target of several investigations by the IRS, the SEC, the FBI, and others. If they are to start payouts, it's as part of a deal with the authorities to get more lenient treatment because the list of crimes, serious crimes, they committed is very long, with securities fraud and unlicensed money transmission being the most obvious. Goliath Ventures also faces another problem in that in September 2025, they filed a defamation lawsuit in a Florida court against Danny DeHeck, the Aotearoa investigative journalist that first exposed their practices. This lawsuit was designed to intimidate and is likely to create more problems, as DeHeck has announced. He will fight back. In short, don't trust anything the people behind Goliath Ventures say. This goes way beyond being a scam. It's a laundry list of very serious crimes.
Yeah. So it's interesting I mentioned my name, but you'll go through there and you'll have a bit of a field day. The other one is the ONYX Reserve people. Now, they had Matt Burke featured in their advertising. Then I got an email from Eric and Tommy basically saying that they were horrified when they found out about Matt Burke. Next minute, they did another launch in January about something they were doing, and they had Matt Burke in there again. So now Matt Burke has been removed from their advertising once again. So it's a bit of a yo-yo Matt Burke love affair going on with ONYX Reserve. Now, ONYX Reserve, word of caution, don't know them from a bar of soap. We have started an investigation on this company. On Eric's YouTube channel, he claims that he's got returns on investment from, I think it was 6 to 8% per month. Don't ask me how people can make claims like that. But anyway, he's also on his own website got lots of celebrities and lots of people, sports players that theoretically have given them testimonials. So we're looking into that because it's really strange. But the biggest red flag about ONYX Reserve for me personally is the fact that they are associated with Matt Burks. Now, anybody in their right mind, Matt Burks has been scrubbed by his own church from their website. He was a parish and an elder in the church. They have scrubbed him from the website after a little bit of duress, is that the right word? After notifying them that Matt Burke is heavily involved with Goliath Ventures and he's now providing financial advice, and there's no proof of Matt Burke being anything to do with the financial advisor, and also he's got no registration that we could see. So it was really unusual that ONYX Reserve decided to feature Matt Burks as someone in their operations team. So now that's been removed, that's a good sign, but that was another update that we found out this morning. So let's see what happens there. Now, the other interesting one, and this is a bit of a long-winded story, but not really, is we were listening to a podcast done with Tomo 8 months ago. And it was with a former FBI agent who'd been in the FBI for 23 years. And we were listening to this and we're thinking, this is a bit strange. So let me give you a bit of a listen. Just joined here, but I didn't. Did you say ONYX is tied to Goliath? No, I did not say ONYX is tied to Goliath. I said that Matt Burke, who was working for Goliath, was also on another, was on the advertising. And I'll show you what I mean by that so I get my facts right. So that was a comment from somebody just posted. But if you come down here and you click on Goliath Ventures on my website, which is coming up now, and you go to the bottom, so you go to my website, click on Goliath Ventures, and you come down here, you will see some advertising. Here it is here. So when we had the collapse of, so if you go there and look for the collapse of Goliath Ventures Inc., missed promises, narrative control, the calm before the storm, you will see that there is this is Tom Shields doing a Zoom meeting, what it like, and on here, he's got that picture, which I think was down here, of Matt Burke's in operations. So then we wrote to them. No, they wrote to us saying, don't publish anything. We didn't know anything about Matt Burke's, and they scrubbed him from their website or did an investigation. And then about 3 weeks ago, they did another presentation and Matt Burke's was back in their advertising. So I don't know what was going on there, but Matt Burke's is a parish on a church. Well, he's been scrubbed from that. And now we see him advertising here in ONYX team. So we have actually started looking into ONYX Reserve and we're trying to find out as much about them and this company. But first glance, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, especially with Eric, because on Eric's website here, I'm pretty sure if you go down to his, and I wouldn't mind betting this has all disappeared now, but let's have a look. So we go to Eric's YouTube account and we click on the More button and look at this. This is what they've got. So I don't know if you can see it. I'll make it a bit larger, but it says passive income of 5 to 7% every month. Now, that's an extraordinary claim. So I'm hoping that they've got an extraordinary, and our preliminary investigation shows there's some pretty amazing claims that this company's making. And they do have a couple of papers filed with SEC, but not all the paperwork that you'd expect from a company that's claiming to, provide a passive income. Now, I don't know what reference this is talking to, but there is a scripture here, I believe. Managing 60 plus pro athletes portfolios. Now that could be true, but I'd like verified truth of that. When mentioned in Forbes, I couldn't find the Forbes article. I can find sponsored articles, but I couldn't find where Forbes has actually interviewed him and there's a whole lot of other, let's just say, red flags that make people like me raise their eyebrows. So that was the truth of the matter here. Anyway, the one I wanted to focus on a little bit was Tomo was interviewing a former FBI agent. And it does seem like Tomo was fishing for information on how the FBI actually does its investigations. So there was a couple of clips in this video which made me raise my eyebrows, and that was at 14 minutes and 39 minutes. So we're just going to listen to this.
My victims were bankers and were banks, and that was rewarding. You ought not to be stealing from banks, but there was no victim who was crying on my shoulder when Chase Manhattan Bank lost $1 million in this scam or that scam.
As they made $1 million off our money yesterday.
Exactly. Later, I moved into Ponzi schemes and other types of like investment frauds. Mm-hmm. And so then I had actual human victims, many of whom were not wealthy people who were getting ripped off. And that
Sound like a bunch of firemen who might have trusted Steve Davis, just saying.
It meant the world to me to be able to help them.
Yeah, like retirement funds being basically like wiped
or
out.
just or someone goes to a little old lady and tells her to get a second mortgage on her house because they can put her in an investment
Sound familiar?
that will pay 6% a week or something. She doesn't know about finance and business like you and I do, and she fell for it, and now she's ruined. And so those cases always meant the world to me. I think the case, though.
Now, we reached out to Tom because those cases that he just talked about on that video with Tomo, who works for Goliath Ventures Inc., he said those cases really meant a lot to him. And we'll see what he says when I contacted him today.
That meant the most to me because I became very victim focused at that point. How can I be a champion for these victims? I had a case in 2019 where a woman and her boyfriend went on a cruise ship out of Florida.
All right, and there was another part here. I think it was number at 39. All right, here we go.
About like cryptocurrency, right? People that were talking about, I wish I was listening about Bitcoin in, what was it, 2020, 2018? Fuck.
Well, live and learn.
I wish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, this is stupid. This doesn't make sense. A lot of people were like, this seems like a good opportunity and this makes sense. Do your research.
I maintained it's still stupid and doesn't make sense. And what we're talking about here is a giant pump and dump Ponzi scheme, but that's a different story for a different day.
Yeah, I mean, like people are bought into the cryptocurrency industry and some people are not.
I think if we were using it as a currency, it might make sense, but it's not. No one's using crypto as a currency. They're using it as a speculative investment.
They are in Dubai.
No, they're not. I work in Dubai. They're not. No. Trust me. I worked in Dubai for 3 years.
Okay.
No one is buying stuff with cryptocurrency there. Maybe you can buy a car.
You buy a car or like some. I think you can buy an apartment.
From certain places. Certain places, maybe they'll take it. But you go to the Dubai Mall where I've spent a ton of time and go from door to door to door trying to buy a shirt or a pair of shoes or a suit.
It's not implemented.
It's not a currency.
Yeah, gotcha. So it's storage value.
It could be a store of value, but I'm not buying that either. Honestly,
gotcha.
I am a crypto skeptic, and I
like it.
Yeah, I think it's garbage.
Listen, I mean, whether you're right or wrong, I think it will be interesting to see what happens over the years.
I agree.
I
agree. And listen, and I'm not even saying crypto is going to crash and go down to zero. In a just and fair world, it would, because the stuff's worthless. But right now, the SEC made a terrible decision to allow electronically traded funds holding crypto. And so that's going to provide enough liquidity to prop up Bitcoin and the rest of this garbage for decades.
So what do you think about, so then I have a question. We're going to get into the weeds here on finances and currency.
Yeah, I'm down.
So like, what do you think about money in general? Because like, when we look at the US dollar, what's it backed by?
It's backed by nothing. The full faith and credit of the U.S. government, right? It's backed by armies and Marines. But here's the difference.
Sure.
People are using it as a currency.
Sure.
Right? I'm not saying that cryptocurrency couldn't work. I'm saying it won't work because people are hesitant to change. Right?
Got it. So you're saying it could work feasibly if it's being utilized.
Sure.
Got it.
No. I have no problem with the idea of we all collectively,
societally or whatever
8 billion people on planet Earth decide to set aside their fiat currencies and start using.
So this is a really interesting one for us. So what I'm getting at here is this individual, since we have contacted him, so this is an FBI theoretically investigator, right? This is his LinkedIn profile. He has blocked me on LinkedIn. He's somebody who's passionate about fighting fraud, set up his own company, gone crazy on TikTok videos, been introduced to Tomo, didn't even research who Tomo was or who he is working for. And now when I reached out to this guy this morning, what did I get from him? So we went through the process of saying, here's a letter basically stating who I am and what I'm doing. And I noted that I saw him in a interview with Tomo, and I was asking him whether he was aware that Tomo was working for Goliath Ventures, and is he aware of the large-scale Ponzi scheme and scam that's currently being accused at the moment. So he came back and said, I don't know anything about it. Never met the guy before. Right? I went on a show, had a nice talk for an hour. I shook his hand and left. Sorry, I can't be more help. So I'm going, that was quick. Now that came back within 30 seconds of me posting a message, which is really weird. He says, it's easy to read stuff. Not my problem, not my concern. Excellent. So you don't really care about fraud investigations by the sounds of it. I'm no longer a law enforcement officer. If someone wants to hire me, I'm happy to take their money and investigate. Otherwise, not my problem. So you're correct. I don't care. And then I say, that's why we thought it would be interesting to see your reaction. We'll put you on the person of interest list. Obviously, you're associated with Tomo. So he's associated with Tomo, an investigator guy, and you're telling me that he has no care in the world about fraud. When he basically on this podcast thing, he basically says he hates fraud. He hates old ladies being taken advantage of. Now, even the videos that they were had on mywebnd.com have been removed. They were of retired people talking about their 401k money and investing in Goliath and all this sort of carry on. So it wouldn't take much investigation, even 8 months ago before we started, to find out that Tomo is associated with Goliath Ventures promoting something that's outside, whatever it is. High risk investments, promising 3, or at that time, maybe 5% return on investments. And this guy, who's a private investigator, worked for the FBI for 23 years, all of a sudden knows nothing about Tomo and all that. So, and that may be true. I mean, whatever, but not a very good investor. I told you, I met the guy one time, and that was all recorded on video. You have everything you need to know about me and my relations to him. And I wrote back, whatever, and he told me to F off. So then I said, I'm just watching some of your videos, and I sort of can't believe that you don't really care what's been going on with Goliath Ventures. I can give you some content if you want, mate, because he does all these videos, you see. So you're just really a YouTuber trying to make a buck by being an investigator who doesn't really give a shit. This is me speaking. I thought you would be all over this, not defensive. What am I missing? I've talked to a lot of similar people, and what I find out at the end is they're actually investors. So I've given a list of questions. Has anyone been charged with the crime of this case? So he's asking me, as an investigator, basically, has anyone been charged in connection with this crime? And because no one's been charged with this crime, I shouldn't be talking about it or accusing people of any, because I'm investigating, but no indictments yet. So this is what I wrote back, if it works.
That question reflects a basic misunderstanding of how fraud investigations actually work. An investigation precedes charges, not the other way around. If people waited for indictments before examining evidence, exposing misconduct, or alerting authorities, most financial fraud would never be uncovered. I'm not reporting on yesterday's court filings. I'm doing active, on-the-ground investigative work, collecting evidence, corroborating victim testimony, documenting representations, tracking promoters, and escalating findings to regulators and law enforcement where appropriate. Charges come after evidence is built, not before. That's how investigations work.
Yeah, so I've been investigating fraud for 30 years. I don't need a lecture from you. Don't text me again. F off. All right. Getting the picture here. So you would think somebody who's like an investigator would actually be more receptive to somebody else who investigates Ponzi schemes and fraud, the exact thing that he loves and thrived at doing. So when you go to his link tree, you can see he's got a website, speaking engagement, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, merchandise, and all this other stuff, right? But then when you come along here, I don't know what he's done here, but something's fallen off. He's got 130K investors. He's blocked me on LinkedIn, and here we are. So this is our mate, Tom, who's passionate about fighting fraud.
A hedge fund is just a fancy name for an unregulated mutual fund where an investment manager pools money from several people and invests it to maximize profits. There's a misconception that hedge funds are somehow better than other investments, but that's just not true. This mistaken belief no doubt made it easy for 41-year-old Paul Lebo of Lakewood, Ohio, to attract investors into his hedge fund. He promised that he had a can't-lose plan to trade stocks and options to maximize profits. He also said that the investments would be risk-free and fully refundable. 100 people invested over $635,000 with Paul's program. As the money started pouring in, Paul made some bad losing stock trades, but he used a significant amount of the investor money to pay his personal expenses. As investors began demanding refunds, he used new investor money to pay back the old investors in what we call a Ponzi scheme. Eventually, Paul ran out of money and started ducking his investors, who called the FBI. The case agent interviewed all the investors and compared their testimony to the reality of Paul's bank statements that the FBI obtained using federal grand jury subpoenas. At that point, it was game over for Paul. He was charged with wire fraud, pled guilty, and was just sentenced to 4 years.
Now, I'm not going to carry on playing, but this guy was rude, arrogant, disrespectful to me. And I just can't believe that somebody out there would be more concerned about building an audience, telling everyone that he is a fraud buster, being interviewed by Tomo, who's working for one of the biggest Ponzi schemes and scams in America at the moment, claiming that he hates fraud, and then tell someone like me to F off when I ask him, has he ever invested in Goliath Ventures before? And I don't know the answer to that question, but we may write an article about this coming up in the not too distant future. But that's what we're dealing with. So I'm sure the FBI might not be very proud of this guy and where he's gone. But hey, look, if you want to make it big and you want to build your YouTube channel, maybe get interviewed by Tomo, and then you might be able to make it big in the world. But check out that. All right, so what I wanted to do today is, you can see I'm sitting here in my armchair and I'm reading the Identity Fraud Report. It's quite a lengthy fraud report. I'm not going to go through it because it's 303 pages big, but I thought I just wanted to read my version of blog out here and have a wee bit of a play and see what we get on with this today. All right, so I'm just going to get my computer to read it until I get myself organised.
The public has been told a comforting story about fraud, that scams are mostly about ignorance, that with enough warnings, enough awareness campaigns, and enough reporting, the problem will slow down.
Yeah. So, okay, so I don't even know. This is what we've got here. Let's have a listen.
The Sums Up Identity Fraud Report 2025 to 2026 tells a far more unsettling story. Fraud hasn't simply grown, it has evolved faster than the systems designed to stop it. What we are witnessing is not a surge of sloppy scams, but a structural shift toward fewer, quieter, and far more damaging fraud events.
Yeah, and honestly, things are changing. Like, there's a scam out there at the moment called BR Wealth Sharing, and it's a carbon copy of another scam that's taken New Zealand by storm, which has now fallen over Christmas time, and it's called CR. Is it Global Group? CR Group LLC. Theoretically, got a proper company register that means shit. Now everyone got told that they needed to top up their balance on the app. They had a limited time to do so. If they didn't top up their balance that they could see on the app by 20%, they weren't going to be able to withdraw it. I don't know if anyone did. I do believe the scam's still running for the people that did top up, but the point is you can't withdraw your money. That scam's fallen over, but there's another one that's called BR Global, and it's absolutely disgusting. I think it's BR Wealth, BR Wealth. Is it B? I might just have a wee look here because I'm pretty sure it's down here. BR Wealth, BG Wealth. Yeah, so it's this one here, and this one here scares me the most, simply because there's no way of anyone communicating in these Zoom meetings. It's basically you're trapped inside a Zoom meeting, being gaslight to by somebody who's faceless, doesn't even have a camera, doesn't even have a proper name, and they're telling you that you need to cut and paste signals 2 or 3 times a day to get the rewards. And they're also telling people that you're getting 20% return for $1,000 investment within a month, which is just ridiculous. But obviously it's a Ponzi scheme. But you go in there and there's 1,000 people in these Zoom meetings. So it's just big wealth sharing. Oh, that's a great way of remembering. So big BG. Is that what the BG stands for? But it actually scares the hell out of me. Now, as you guys know, I am a YouTuber. Now, I did a blog about BG, wealth sharing, just a few weeks ago. There it is there. Now, this blog's getting about 100 views a day. Oh, I've got the wrong one, sorry. However, this alarms me. But one good thing, I am getting a bit of monetization from this one. So see the scale it's going up at? And I've got 23 new subscribers. So even though I didn't know much about this scam at the start, I've now seen a video set basically doing nothing. And now it's growing at great rates. But the sad part about it is I want to do another video on this BG wealth sharing. But it's just, I don't even think I have got a hashtag in there. So I don't know. How do I stop people from this? Now, why I'm talking about this,
there is no
this particular scam is actually, I believe, ran out of Myanmar and human trafficking compounds. But people I talk to actually believe there is a professor and there is other people they can talk to. People tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. They've actually set themselves up a proper company, probably in the Maldives Islands and the like. I've written a blog all about it. As I said, I've got a video. It's been featured in Behind MLM. So we've done our most, but we can't stop these schemes. They've got many domain names, which they keep firing out. The FMA has done a warning about this, which is actually worthwhile looking at if I can find it. If I go, so the FMA has done FMA, and let's see if I can find the actual article. It's going to be a bit hard. But the FMA has actually updated their records on it. And I just wish I could find it. Maybe if I go UICX, this is what I don't like. You try finding anything on these websites, and it's just impossible to find something really quick. Is that the one? Well, I'll take that back. There we go. Excellent. So this is the warning from. So, I must say New Zealand's quite good. Now, we've written to the FMA quite a lot of times about the first one, which was CR Global. They rebranded themselves in New Zealand to signalraiders.com. Our Terminator took down the website, and because we took down the website, the FMA won't add the domain name signalraiders.com to their database because they said there's no need because we've already taken down the website. And I said, well, historically, it would be helpful for me, because it's the same scam over and over again. And some people, New Zealanders, have lost money to signalraiders.com because they didn't know about all the rebranding along the way. However, they won't. So it just pisses me off. How the scam works. So if you read how the scam works, it's exactly how BR works. What do you do if you've been scammed? Well, and now they've actually updated this to mention that CR Group LLC Limited is now, part of this organisation. And also they've now redone the UICEX exchange is now called Ruby. So if we go to Ruby, you will see the same exchange that you're used to is now renamed Ruby. So they've just rebranded itself. Now, because this blog that I'm talking about at the moment is showing you that the governments can't keep up. These guys have registered over 200 domain names. So they've now come out with 3 domain names, rebranded their exchange, which is fake, and then republished it. Now, just to give you an idea, just have a look at this. So I'm just going to go in here and search for signal. So I'm searching for the word signal, and it's called Trading Signals, but they haven't updated it. So all these names that you can see, I'm scrolling pretty fast, and these are all the domain names that this company has bought because they keep getting shut down. And they keep opening up new domain names. And the FMA are updating all these domain names like they're hoping to make a difference. And I give them one domain name to add, and they tell me they're not going to add it because I've already shut down the website without their help. And that's the sort of, this is what we're talking about with this scam here. As the report itself states, listen.
As the report itself states, stable or declining fraud percentages can create a false sense of security. In reality, every successful fraud attempt now represents more preparation, more technology, and longer-term harm. In plain terms, the scams that still work are the ones that are hardest to see, hardest to prove, and hardest to undo.
So these people were using WhatsApp and Telegram. Now they're using BondChat. BondChat is a Chinese app that monitors everyone that joins a group. So they somehow, I don't know how it works, but we have seen them using WhatsApp, where if you are in the WhatsApp group, they could turn on your microphone and turn on your camera and actually listen to you. And that might be hard to, I just need to flip screens for a second. We'll go back to our FBI agent that told me to F off this morning, my ex-FBI agent that told me to F off this morning. And that was good, I did that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back here now. This is my database. If I go into... what are we looking at, Danny? We go into CR Global, and then we go into videos. And this is how scary these scams are getting. So these are, I think this was, here we go. Now you've listened to this. This is videos of people in a group, and they're touching people's usernames and their cameras are coming on automatically. Isn't that scary? So people, I'm going to actually move that one. I'm just going to, hold up. We'll just, what we can do is we're going to move this one over here. So this is, I mean, I don't know if you realize what we're looking at here, kids, but I'm just going to put that there. I don't know what I've done here. These might be all different. So these are all, these are, so look what's happening here. That, oh, stupid me. Okay. Oh, let me rephrase this. So what you're seeing here is this is somebody probably in a human trafficking compound. For some reason, they've decided to record what they're doing on their phone, and they are in wealth sharing. Oh, look at that. CR-178 wealth sharing. Notice how they've just changed it to big, BG wealth instead of CR. And they're literally touching people's usernames and their cameras, and they can listen to those people talking. Here we go again. Watch this. And that's incredible, isn't it? So this is sophistication. So this was a WhatsApp group, and now they've moved everyone to BondChat. BondChat's ran by the Chinese, and as far as I'm concerned, once you create a group in BondChat, you can actually turn on the sound and the video camera of the person in that room. And people are signing up for these platforms thinking that they're signing up for an investment opportunity. But in the meantime, you know, your personal everything is getting recorded, or they can drop in and eavesdrops on your life. Is it really worth the risk? And that's what happens. So this is this type of fraud that these modern world is using. So let's carry on.
One of the most important takeaways from the report is that fraud is no longer something that just happens. It is built.
Yeah, that Microsoft certified trainer, that's actually very true. But can you explain what else is potentially happening here, because this is WhatsApp, and I know the lady who got this video. I've actually got other ones. Let's try this one. Hold up. Let's have a look.
Principal doesn't believe me. And my principal doesn't believe me.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not working. I'm just trying to see if I've got different ones here. Let's have a look. It could be a trick, but this alarms me all the same. And it looks like they're downloading a video clip. So I don't know. But if it's not fake, then what is it? It looks like when they click it, it's downloading a video, which would tell me it's either connecting or something. Yeah, don't know. I thought they're going to put their passcode in there for a while. But anyway, that does sort of alarm me. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's any others. We might have already doubled up on some of these. I'm just going to get rid of that one. Put that one in there. But these ones here I can't play because it's got people's phone numbers on it, and you won't be able to see them that small. No, that's got to be something shady going on there. These have got people's phone numbers on here. What about this one? What's that one doing?
And my principal doesn't believe me.
We've seen that one before. Hey, look, is it possible that people could be spying on you because you've installed an app on your phone? Yes, it's possible. Whether this is happening, I don't actually know. But, you know, it scares me what people don't realize that the bigger picture is. And this, what I'm saying is the world's changing. It could be a rat. We could all have a theory on it, but it could be as simple as people who, you know, we don't know. We don't honestly really know, do we?
Fraud as a service platforms have removed the technical barrier entirely. Deepfake generators, synthetic identity kits, document templates, and liveness bypass workflows are now sold, rented, reused, and refined. The same fake identity can be deployed across multiple platforms, jurisdictions, and payment systems before it is finally burned.
Who knows what they're doing with our identities? And the amount of these scams actually ask you for your KYC details. There was another thing I heard the other day that people were doing with people's identity, which I didn't think of. And I'm thinking, oh, that would be pretty amazing. But anyway.
The report documents a 180% year-on-year increase in what it defines as sophisticated fraud, not because criminals suddenly got smarter, but because the tools got better and cheaper.
Yeah.
This modern fraud ecosystem typically involves synthetic identities, where the name, date of birth, address, and documents never belong to a real person. Deepfake selfies and video, designed to pass liveness checks rather than fool humans. Post KYC abuse, where accounts behave legitimately for weeks or months before being drained. Cross-border reuse, where identities and methods are recycled across regions. This is not chaotic crime. It is process-driven deception.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking while you're listening to that, I'm thinking about what Microsoft Certified Trainer says, because it is interesting. Like you're saying, WhatsApp does not allow a user to turn on another person's camera. But imagine if they had figured out a way of reverse engineering WhatsApp, or maybe they encourage you to install the UICEX, what do they call it? Fake exchange on your phone. And maybe that has some tool that connects with your WhatsApp and enables you to give away, you know how it pops up when you install an app and it says allow it to access your contacts, allow it to access your microphone, allow it to access your camera. Maybe because you've got that app installed And also, I would like to go through, and I might do that at a later stage, go through and get all those phone numbers that were able to click on and turn on their camera and see whether they are Android versus Apple. Because if they were Android, then I wouldn't put it past their app enabling access to people's cameras and microphone at any time once you've got that app installed. Who knows? But it's an interesting scenario. A reoccurring warning in the report is about misleading data. In many regions, regulators successfully reduce low-effort fraud. Obviously, I'm just going to go down here and read this.
Obvious forgeries declined. Blacklist violations dropped. Screenshot-based scams faded. On paper, this looks like progress. But what replaced them is far more dangerous. Synthetic identity fraud grew by triple digits in several regions. Deepfake-based selfie fraud became the dominant category in mature markets. Fraud rings shifted away from volume and toward precision, targeting higher-value victims and longer account lifespans. The result is a paradox the report spells out clearly. Fraud
volumes can fall. Fraud consumption can rise. Total harm can increase. This explains why victims feel like losing their minds. Official status say fraud is under control, yet losses are larger, investigations stall, and perpetrators vanish without trace. Both things are true at the same time. So why can't law enforcement keep up with the pace, even when it tries? Yeah, I would like to answer that myself. I just think I was talking to some people in regards to Goliath. They wanted to know how much a certain individual had invested, and they only really were interested in people that had invested over $1 million and above, to be honest. All the other stuff doesn't seem worthwhile their time. Even though I'm new at investigating, and I sort of think everything is data, everything's connected to someone who might be a bigger whale, and I like to have all the evidence, and that's why I love my database. So as soon as I show, let's just say the feds, like my Ponzi schemes and scams. So these, if you went and asked Danny for access to his database, I will give you a list of all these Ponzi schemes and scams that I've invested. I will go into one like here called Smarter Than Money, which isn't a big, well-known Ponzi scheme or a scam. I would go into the marketers, and here's the people that I've seen associated to promoting that Ponzi scheme or scam. And then I would go into that individual, and I would then find out who this guy is. Now, this guy's driving around in nice cars and whatever it is. Then all I do is I flip myself into his Instagram. He's got 90 followers, lots of lovely photos of himself. And I might find that, I'm just picking out this guy from random, that this guy is now promoting something new, like big wealth sharing, for example. And then I might go, rightio, then I associate his profile back and go down the chains. Or I might go into a video that he did, and I might look at the people in the Zoom meeting here, and I notice that a lot of them are still using their real names. Pat Robson name comes to mind. Bridget Harris comes to mind. Brenda. Beverly Hills. Now, Beverly Hills is a funny one because I know that name and I've talked to that lady on the phone. But, to be honest, I haven't looked at this for 12 months. And then all of a sudden I find that he may be promoting something else. That looked a lot like a Goliath Ventures logo there for a second. That would be funny, wouldn't it? But, this is what we do. We investigate and we go down rabbit holes. And then I put all that database together, and then I put people into categories like Americans, and then I might think, well, it just goes on and on and on. And, if I went to persons of interest, you'll see I've now got 800 people in my database here. I've got New Zealanders. I've got 38 New Zealanders, which I believe are, connected to promoting or, affected to some sort of scam or something like this. And this isn't a public database. This is just my database. that I use. Here's a name of a whole lot of people that I've seen in Zoom meetings that so if I search for like a person's name one day, I come to my database and I search for their name. I find this person's been in 4 different Zoom meetings, all connected to Liquid Pay, VYB, Trade Technologies. So now I can cross-reference that particular individuals and actually find that this lady, whoever this lady is, and I don't even know from a bar of soap, but I've managed to find all these Zoom meetings and I've taken the names of the people that were in attendance. And I can figure out now that that lady, Denise Crooks, fitting name, was associated with 4 Ponzi schemes and scams. So I know she's out there actively looking for places to either recruit people, get a quick buck and get off. I don't know. But that's what I do. So that's my database. But the only problem is by the time law enforcement catch up with these people, like one guy comes to mind, Alice Maysbury. When I contacted his local constable, he was trying his best to get the authorities to investigate this guy. He has had 17 people come to him claiming that Alice Maysbury had got them to invest $5,000, telling them they're going to get $33,000 back in 3 months, and then ghosted them once he got the money. 17 people come forward to one local person, and he's begging like the FBI or whoever it is to do an investigation, and he's finding it hard to get them to take the bait. So these guys know how it works. Now, these are small-time scammers, but that's changed. It seems like there's all these, well, I've always said it's these human trafficking compounds that seem to be running the deal, and they are using these small-time people to promote their scams. So this BG wealth sharing scam horrifies me because these people are now promoting it who have been promoting all these other scams, and this one's growing like wildfire.
Modern fraud moves at machine speed. Law enforcement moves at human speed, bound by jurisdiction, due process, and legal thresholds. Today's fraud operations typically involve identities that never existed, disposable wallets and accounts, infrastructure designed to collapse, cleanly money moved instantly and irreversibly, actors spread across multiple countries. By the time a report is reviewed, subpoenas issued, or international cooperation triggered, the operation has already moved on. The identity is gone. The wallet is empty. The trail is cold by design.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff here that I wanted to bring up as well. We'll just finish this section off and I'll show you a video of something that alarms me.
Even international agencies now acknowledge that AI-generated voice and video impersonation has expanded fraud into previously trusted channels, phone calls, video verification, and identity checks that were never built to withstand synthetic media at scale. This is why waiting for enforcement increasingly means waiting for nothing.
Yeah, it does. I wouldn't, my take on it is you become, I always say cause disruption and create awareness. I'm sick of being called an idiot by people who say I don't know what I'm talking about. And then those same people will come back to me and ask for my help, which is quite, I don't even know how to say, alarming. Okay, so I've got something else here for you. Now, this was just taken a couple of days ago, over the weekend, I believe. What is today? Yes, it'll be over the weekend. This scam, which is, I don't know how to explain it, is BG, what do they call this one? GG Gold. Now, this is a company that claims that their token started at 10 cents and now is worth $50. It goes from $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. They don't even have an exchange. You can't, trade unless you find some idiot that takes over your account. So at one point, I created an account and I got given $200 worth of tokens. Now, there's no worth to these tokens except they're telling you they're worth $200. So now they've got this, now I've spoken to the professor, Professor Roberts, they call him. And these people are just blindly believing everything he says. He says that they've got trillions of dollars worth of gold available. And this video just came out the other day because this was at their conference. And these are the people that truly believe that the professor's the real deal. Or are they people recruiting other people into it and gaslighting people into believing that this is true and real? Or are they just living in hope that this is true and genuine because they want out of their financial their financial situation? Have a listen to this. This is just crazy.
Okay, wow. There's a lot of people in here, as you can see.
So these are all people that believe that there's $15 billion worth of gold on top of an abandoned gold mine in Arizona.
Tanya, I'm saying there's a lot of people in here.
So how can I stop these people? Open to suggestions in the chat room or in the comment section below if you're watching this later. How can I stop these people from wanting to believe that the Professor Roberts is a convict? He's been in jail for 6.3 years, his words. I've talked to him on the phone and interviewed him. He finished up hanging up on me after 10 minutes of questioning his validity, for the use of a better word.
I'm looking all around the video, doing a video all around the room. There's a lot of people here. Mr. Keith.
There's Mr. Keith. He's one of the main people. Now, why cannot the FBI go in there and arrest Keith or ask him prudent questions right now on why he's there promoting an opportunity before people fall off the cliff? That's what I want to know.
There. Millionaires meeting.
So he believes that he's in a millionaires meeting. Now, I think I've stumbled across this guy previously because I actually, I'm pretty sure I have. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. I'm just going to compare that with this because this is quite a hard case. I'll see if I can find him on my blog. I think we had a bit of fun with him a wee while ago. So what we'll do is we'll go here. Where is he? Sure, I had fun with him a wee while ago. No. Where am I? Did I not do it? Maybe I've gone past it. Maybe I didn't do a video. That might be why. So let's go back to here. Let's go to the videos. And there will be a video of that guy there. There he is there. So is this the same guy?
I don't know how to stop this. I can't have people telling people I'm a scammer.
Is that the same guy? He hasn't got a beard. No, it's not the same guy. They all look the same, don't they, sometimes? Sorry. Anyway, let's go and see what he's got to say, because he's a true believer that they're all billionaires.
House. Millionaires meeting in the house. Be here.
So is it the desire to believe? No one can talk to these people. You can't get through to these people. Or are they know it's a scam and they're just recruiting? How do governments fight these guys?
Millionaires meeting, we in the house.
Right, we're going to go for a walk now, I think. I haven't actually watched all this video, so hopefully it's good. Now, I've had people's families reach out to me, and they have asked me to help them, by educating their parents that this is not real. Their parents believe that they've got $300,000 worth of gold tokens already available, And the question is, well, what's the harm in having these tokens just in case it happens? And the other day we had Dr. Roberts telling people not to use their rent money to buy his fake tokens. So we're going to we'll speed up in a minute. We'll see if we can find him when he starts talking to people, because it was quite interesting. Is he walking outside? I remember seeing him outside in one part of it. Here we go. So let's have a look.
All right. He's straight back there. Straight down there. Yeah, straight down there, Alvin. You gotta make sure you sign in. Look. No, I did yesterday.
So it was a 3-day event. Okay, let's see. Here we go. What have we got here? So how do we stop these scams getting traction? And do we need to stop these scams getting traction? Is it there? None of my business. Perhaps that's it. Anyway, so we had a few photos come through as well, but you get the idea. I don't think there's anything else I can show you here that you may have not seen. I'll just have a wee look, make sure. Sorry, it's a bit boring today, guys. CR group. It's not CR group, it's something to do with gold. There it is. So let's have a look and see if there's any photos. We did have some photos. Oh, they were visiting the gold mine again. I might be able to bring this. No, I'm just going to see if I can bring that across. I'll see if I can bring it across. I don't know if it's going to let me. Oh, yeah, it does. All right, so let's see what we can do here. But this is them on a gold tour going to visit the mine. And the mine's isn't even theirs. And there's no proof that this is the mine, and there's no proof it's got $15 trillion worth of gold on it. So he just said that they're going to bring in equipment and start remining the mine. Well, where's the permits? But no one's asking the questions. Where's the permit? Because there's so many people there now, they'll be having a field day, these scammers, because if no one's asking any questions and no one's trying to verify this information, it's just a waste of time. Anyway, this isn't what I call a sophisticated scam, but the guy behind it is charismatic at gaslighting people and using cult-like techniques to ensure people that it's true and genuine, and making up fake figures of his worth of his token, and it's not even exchanged. But I still can't stop these people doing this.
The dangerous myth of just report it. There is a sentence victims hear repeatedly, usually from someone trying to be helpful. Make sure you report it. That's the most important thing. Reporting does matter, but believing it is enough is one of the most dangerous myths in modern fraud. Most victims assume that if they gather enough evidence, screenshots, chat logs, wallet addresses, transaction hashes, someone will eventually connect the dots and fix it. This belief keeps people patient, compliant, and hopeful. The report explains, indirectly but clearly, why this rarely happens.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm just having a look here just to see whether I've got, there it is. I'm just being a bit naughty here, doing some housework along the way. I noticed that that wasn't, I'll show you what I did in a second. You'll be excited. I tell you what, I spend hours editing my videos and my blogs. But here we come, and we should have a nice, make sure you report it. That's the most important thing. Hello, Thomas. Nice to see you here, mate. Just trying to figure it on a clever way. The report explains directly. So what did the report explain directly? Here we go.
Modern fraud does not produce a traditional crime scene. The screenshots victims save are often artifacts of a manufactured environment, not evidence tied to a real, prosecutable entity. The face may be a deepfake. The documents may be synthetic. The platform may be a front-end shell designed to disappear. This is why so many victims do everything right and still hear nothing back months later. It's not because they failed. It's because they reported something that was never designed to be investigated using legacy methods. Reporting is necessary. Believing it will bring resolution is not.
Yeah, so I think that's my point is, what's the use of going after a fake company and holding anyone accountable when you don't know who's behind the company. The real shift from enforcement to intelligence. For decades, fraud response following. So who's at fault here? Is it the victims who haven't done the due diligence? Or because no one's going to stop the scammers, then, like even that first guy we mentioned today, Tom Simons, he told me to F off. Now, he worked for 23 years for the government as a person that goes after fraud and Ponzi schemes and scams. His words, not mine. And then when I reach out to him and ask him if I can ask him a few questions, he tells me to F off. He's now an investigator who's got more YouTube videos than convicted people. I mean, really? Is that the world we live in? That a former FBI agent for 23 years tells somebody who investigates fraud to F off and gets interviewed by one of the biggest scammers on the planet and doesn't investigate who's interviewing him. He's more concerned about getting in front of the camera and being on Tomo's show, even though it's only had 1,000 views in the last 8 months, than actually going after real criminals. You'd think somebody who worked for the FBI for 23 years would actually want to work with me or know more. He even said he has contacts in the FBI. When he can give them a ready-to-go, easy conviction, they will lap it up. Do you think this guy would have researched a little bit about Tomo? That's the world we live in. People don't care anymore.
For decades, fraud response followed a simple model: crime, report, investigation, enforcement. That model assumes the crime is slower than the response. The report makes it clear this assumption no longer holds. Fraud prevention is shifting away from reactive enforcement and toward intelligence-led adaptation. This means focusing on patterns, reuse, behavior, and speed, not just individual actors. Modern prevention increasingly relies on.
What does it rely on? It relies on behavioural. And this is patterns. And this is why I'm probably quite good at spotting a scam, because I'm dyslexic and I see patterns more than anything.
Behavioral and device-level signals rather than static identities, correlation across platforms, instead of isolated incidents, early disruption, instead of post-loss investigation, continuous monitoring, rather than one-time checks from an investigative standpoint. This explains why independent analysis, OSINT, and cross-platform documentation often surface fraud patterns long before any official warning appears. Enforcement still matters, but it can no longer be the front line.
Yeah, and this is disruption. I remember going to the, what do they call that thing? The Global Financial Crime Summit 2025. I went to that, was it? Oh my God, it was 2024. And I went to that, and the lady on the stage pointed at me and said, the only way to stop these guys is disruption, and pointed at me, the YouTuber. And she said, there's no way of stopping them. And she was a university lecturer at the Sydney University, and that was her take on it. Now, I'm just going to see if I can find a few Zoom meetings. I'm pretty sure they'll be closed for the day. But just while you're listening to this, we'll see if we can find anyone.
Why awareness alone is failing. Governments and platforms still lean heavily on awareness campaigns, posters, emails, warnings telling people not to click links or trust strangers. The report quietly dismantles this approach. Public awareness has improved, people are more cautious, and yet fraud losses continue to rise. Why? Because awareness assumes the threat is recognizable. Modern fraud does not look like the scams people are warned about. It looks professional. It looks compliant. It often looks regulated. Deepfakes don't raise suspicion. They create reassurance. Synthetic identities don't trigger alarms. They pass checks.
Yeah, so my take on it is this the new norm? People look at these opportunities and think, I get a lot of inquiries from people, and they come back to me and they go, what is a legitimate platform? And I sit here and I go, are you kidding me, right? Are you really asking me for a legitimate investment scam that I can promote you? So in between my busy day, I go, this one is legitimate. Do you really think that's something I want to tell you guys? And people go, but you just say everything's a scam. And I go, everything is a scam. If you want to lose your money, you might be clever enough to play the casino and actually win, But the truth of the matter is that who is the casino? Where is the money coming from to pay your winnings? And if that's the case, then if you're just going to be negligent and don't care as long as you get your money, then the whole world's buggered, isn't it, really? It's a have now, first in, first served, me first attitude. Is that the world we live in? I suppose it is. I must be old-fashioned.
Victims are not stupid. They are responding logically to fabricated trust at scale. You cannot out-educate an adversary that can generate infinite convincing variations, faster than humans can learn new warning signs.
Yeah, so it is about trust. And that's really true because anything that you invest in is you trusted it. So all they do now is they do these trust campaigns and they just keep banging you around the head until you trust what they do. And it's just building trust. So if somebody who's your friend, a family member, somebody you work with, a colleague, we've got a big scam going down at the moment in New Zealand, and it's called the CR Group, LLC. And as I talked about, big wealth sharing, it's the same scam rebranded, and they've collapsed it in one end and started up again over here. One company, and a big company, it's actually, I won't name the company, but they own a whole lot of hotels around the world if it's the same group. They have 7,000 employees just in this division of that big company. And one of those individuals there has decided that he would pressure his work colleagues to sign up and ridicule them if they didn't pay $500. So 60 people in that one company in New Zealand only, and we're a small fry, had decided to sign up for that opportunity because they were pressured into it by their boss or their supervisor. So we've actually managed to go to the big company at the top and ask them what they're going to do about it. And initially, they basically sent us back a couple of PDFs, but they took it very seriously, which is absolutely amazing. And they are now, that person's in a lot of shit. I believe he will lose his job, but he recruited 60 people. Minimum investment, $500. So around about $850, $900 people have lost. That's a lot of money. He was skiting that he was making $15,000 a month. He was showing people, look how much money I'm making. And he's saying to people, you need to recruit. How many of those 60 people have recruited people outside their network? So that's how these scams get traction. Now, that one company, I would buy their products now. I would not boycott them because I don't agree with their practices. They have done amazingly well. And that's a good story. Right. The hard truth.
The hard truth going into 2026, the report does not promise relief. It promises acceleration. By 2026, the data shows we should expect deepfakes to move fully mainstream, synthetic identities to replace stolen ones, fraud as a service to further lower skill barriers, real-time payments to amplify losses, criminal adoption of AI to continue outpacing regulation.
Yeah, and I think this is what I want to do. Is I want to be at the cold front. I want to be in the trenches with these scammers, and I want to really expose them in real time. I want to get on here and tell you what the latest and the greatest scams are. If you want to support me in any which way, please consider joining the YouTube channel. I know that Thomas is a monthly member.
This means the future does not involve fewer scams. It involves fewer visible scams and more devastating ones. Yep. Detection will increasingly be probabilistic, not definitive. Prevention will focus on reducing exposure, not eliminating risk. Recovery will remain rare. Avoiding this truth only benefits the people exploiting it.
Yeah. Avoiding the truth only benefits those exploiting it. We've got to do things different, guys. I'm tired of doing this. Today's a hard day for me, but it's just I'm exhausted, I think about my why, what's happening. The asks I get from people are a lot more demanding these days, like they have a right to contact me and use and utilize my services. And it is actually quite exhausting. I'm wondering if I can give you an example of that.
The only viable option left, adapt or be overrun. The conclusion is uncomfortable but unavoidable. Fraud is no longer an exception. It is a persistent feature of the digital economy. Adaptation does not mean panic. It means changing expectations. It means understanding that screenshots are not protection, reporting is not resolution, compliance is not safety, and trust must now be earned continuously, not assumed once. The Sums Up report makes one thing clear. Fraud prevention belongs to those who adapt faster than the threat evolves. The people who don't adapt won't just lose money.
Yeah, they won't just lose money. Do you know what they'll lose?
Welcome to Block Divers.
All right, so I want to show you something interesting in a second, and I'll show you why this annoys me. People do not adapt. They don't just lose money. They will keep believing the system failed them without realizing the system they trusted no longer exists in the form they imagine. Look, if you want to know more about fraud, download that identity fraud report, have a read. You know, like I showed you earlier on, we don't know whether there's WhatsApp things I showed you were real. You know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But people who had WhatsApp were in a group. Somebody was clicking a button, turning on their microphone and their camera and listening and eavesdropping. And that was videos that we received. If scams have got that sophisticated, then they're listening to what you're saying, what you're thinking, or who you're talking to, and monitoring you to better their performance at growing these scams. Absolutely incredible. Now, I was reached out to by a guy who, at a first glance, looks like a genuine sort of guy, and I'm not saying he's not, but I did notice that his videos here, now he's got 500 odd subscribers, 110 videos, and he gave me a whole lot of videos to look at. 2 months ago, he did an interview similar to Tomo's, and then all of a sudden, he poked me after saying he wanted to have a meeting and jump on a Zoom, and I felt like I was being sold something. So then I got this video here.
Welcome to this overview of the forensic blockchain investigation.
So with here, block drivers, forensic investigations, right?
In unraveling the complexities of crypto.
So what they're claiming to do is to follow the blockchain and potentially recover your crypto. And instantly I'm thinking, who am I actually talking to? Now, it's called crypto scams, digital forensic, blockchains forensic. And I come down here and there's all these asset recovery, virtual asset recovery, crypto tracing, all the keywords that a lot of people that have lost their money are interested in. So then I'm thinking, well, I don't know who this guy is. And then I and I'm not saying they're dodgy or anything, but let's have a look at this person here. And if I was to look at this person here, it's got 7,200 followers. I can see he's associated with other people. Now, the first thing I'd be looking at is you're thinking, I'm trying to build trust with this guy because he wants to talk to me. He wants to jump on a Zoom meeting. And all of a sudden, he's poked a couple of videos at me where it's sort of showing his hidden agenda because he got sick of talking to me and I'm sort of starting to question him. He's busy now promoting. So if I went in here and I had a look at all his posts, I could build a profile of this person. How a 1 billion crypto laundering network actually works. Block drivers. And then it's all block drivers. We are honored to support block drivers, CEO, Dan, whoever, blah, blah, blah. He's a US Navy veteran. And, scam alert. So he's tailing me around and I've got to be very careful. So is he promoting block drivers? Is it a legitimate company? Because when I listen to the videos, I hear him giving people hope that they can actually recover people's money that have lost it on crypto. And I don't like it. Because this guy could have literally, and I'm not saying this is the case, but this guy could have literally ripped off somebody else's LinkedIn profile who doesn't use it anymore, rebranded it to be his own YouTube channel, Could be a fake person, which I've seen lots of photos of him on the internet, and I'm pretty convinced, in my opinion, that he's not a fake person. But this person could be grooming me to form some sort of relationship with me so that he could use the people that are around me who have lost their money so he could exploit them once again. He could say, look, we can't guarantee to get your crypto back, but we can investigate it, and there is a possibility that there is a chance that you're going to get your money back. You know, and I don't know the answer to that question. So if I go into this video that he wants me to watch because it's posted on his LinkedIn profile, warning, beware of this scam. Pig butchering scams, block drivers. So, you know, like, do I need to investigate this block drivers? You know, that's what I'm getting at. So let's go block drivers. So let's go block drivers. And I don't know, is it .com? I have a guess. Let's see if it's the same. We've now found out they don't own the word block drivers. So now I'm going to just do a search for block drivers and see what comes up. Block drivers. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to go to his profile, and I'm going to click on block drivers. Okay. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Block Drivers from 2018, 7 years and 3 months. Palm Beach, Florida, and Dubai, UAE remote. So you go, okay. Anyone that is not law enforcement can recover crypto, and even then it's extremely rare. Anybody that's not law enforcement can recover. You mean may not? I mean, you know, like anyone that makes a claim. Okay, block driver. I spelled it wrong. Okay, so now we're on this website here. Block driver. When blockchain truth is not enough, we enforce it. Free consultation. Now, does that go off to a WhatsApp number? We have a phone number, and with somebody in the United States. So what I would probably do is go through and try to find where this company, and once again, I'm not saying this isn't, a legitimate company, and the guy wants to have an interview with me, but theoretically could be situated in this building. I don't know what number. All of a sudden, we're in a building that doesn't have a floor, a number. So all of a sudden, he's given us the location of their building, but I don't see anything that claims where it is. So what I could do is I could click on this. I could just highlight all these buttons here, open up here, go to ChatGPT, and I could go scamdemic, and I could go, I would like to build a knowledge base on a company using their website and correspondence. Below is the text pasted from their homepage of their website. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got below is the text pasted from their website. So I'll go back here. Right, now let's just have a wee look. Boom. Oh, it come up boom. Sorry guys, hold 1 minute. Okay, and what I could also do is I could put it in speech marks. Why is this thing not working? Right, block drivers. Can't see anything there, but I could do a little bit of investigation, couldn't I? I could do Trustpilot. Now, the reason I'm using this as an example is this company claims that they do crypto recovery. So I've wrote to the guy and I said, well, have you got some examples of, people that you've actually helped recover money from? Because I'd be interested in that. For example, there's no reviews on here. So now I'm going back to here and I'm having a little bit of a listen. Let's have one over.
Below is a clean, structured knowledge base breakdown of what we actually have from the Block Divers website text you pasted, written in an evidence-first, investigative tone suitable for future reference, cross-checking, and escalation. I am not making allegations here. This is a factual decomposition of claims,
Great.
positioning, language patterns, and gaps that matter in fraud-adjacent investigations. Company claimed identity, Block Divers, publicly positions itself as a post-trace crypto enforcement and recovery firm, operating after blockchain tracing has already occurred. They explicitly claim to work after court judgments, after traditional investigations stop, at the so-called enforcement layer of blockchain investigations. Key slogan: when blockchain truth is not enough, we enforce it.
Right. So just some telltale signs here. I don't know if you noticed what actually happened there, but I clicked on all their social media and it went back to the homepage, which means they haven't linked through to their social media. Could you give me a brief summary just to get started? All right. So this is what, just by using the technology that we have in front of us, I've just fed in 2 pages of the website and I've just used AI. My AI is probably slanted towards exposing scams, so it might be more of an investigative summary than yours. So let's put that out there first.
Block Divers presents itself as a post-trace crypto enforcement and asset recovery firm operating in complex, high-risk blockchain cases where traditional investigations and court judgments have failed to produce recoveries. The company claims to work at the enforcement layer of blockchain investigations, positioning itself as a last resort operator that steps in after tracing, legal action, and compliance processes have stalled. According to its website, Block Divers does not sell software or analytics tools, but instead claims to apply judgment, pressure, and cross-border strategy to convert blockchain evidence into real-world leverage. The firm asserts experience drawn from military, intelligence, and advanced investigative backgrounds, and implies the ability to navigate opaque jurisdictions and engage intermediaries capable of freezing or recovering digital assets. At present, the public information is limited to marketing statements. The website does not disclose company ownership, directors, legal entity registration, regulatory authorization, named enforcement partners, or verifiable recovery case studies. Multiple inconsistencies, including the interchangeable use of the names Block Divers and Block Drivers, and the absence of substantiated metrics or third-party verification, mean the firm remains unverified based solely on publicly available material. This summary serves as an initial baseline and will be expanded as corporate records, correspondence, and independent evidence are reviewed.
Alrighty. So, this is the sort of, things, if I'm going to deal with, what have we got? Authority below. So I've now just asked for a whole lot of questions I could potentially ask this person.
Yes, below is a tight, professional, non-accusatory question set you can use with Dan Lounsbury, designed to separate marketing language from verifiable.
I'm going to post this to him via LinkedIn. Could you please make it a LinkedIn, what do you call LinkedIn message, and ask him a few prudent questions about his company? All right. So then, and this is just using, I'm obviously just using AI, right? That's what we're doing. And I'm just going through somebody who's claimed to do something. And I've thought about it. And then I thought, well, why can't I ask him these questions before I do any business with him? Like, he wants to partner up with me of some form and potentially do some sort of scam busting together. But what I see from my experience is somebody who might want to piggy bank off some victims that come my way. And he's going to say he's got the solution. It comes at a financial cost. And he's going to be I've had people before offer me a percentage of the percentage that they charge people to help recover their money when they have no proof that they can recover money. Listen to this.
Hi, Dan. I've been reviewing block divers as part of some broader research into post-trace crypto recovery and enforcement services. Given your public positioning around enforcement, cross-border recovery, and operating where traditional legal processes fall short, I wanted to ask a few straightforward questions for clarity. What is the exact legal entity name clients contract with when engaging block divers, and which jurisdiction is it incorporated in? The website footer references block drivers rather than block divers. Are these separate legal entities or simply a branding issue? When block divers says it supports asset freezes and enforcement, who actually holds the legal authority to execute those actions? Courts, regulators, exchanges, etc. Do you typically work through law firms, directly with victims, or both? Can you describe, at a high level, how you ensure your enforcement and pressure strategies remain lawful, ethical, and non-harmful to already affected victims? Do you publish or provide verifiable recovery outcomes, even anonymized, so clients can understand realistic expectations? These are not meant to be adversarial, just prudent due diligence questions, especially in a space where victims are often exposed to secondary harm. Appreciate any clarity you're willing to provide. Best regards, Danny.
I'm interested now. I think he's got spelling mistakes in his website, which I'm not against because I'm dyslexic. But, is this a spelling mistake? Is this a spelling mistake? Okay, so that's interesting. Really, because I think that's true, actually. So he's got block drivers. So now I'm going to go for block drivers. Yeah, he's got a spelling mistake on his website. Oh, dear. No offense, guys, but if I was claiming to be somebody that can recover people's crypto, you'd need an eye for detail, and not being able to spell your own company name correct on your website would either insinuate you're doing things in a hurry, but that is kind of funny. But anyway, that's what I get on a daily basis. I hope that's been helpful to you guys. I don't know, I'm a bit tired today, but I just wanted to say it's a changing world. We've got to figure a different way on how to fight scams. We can't do the same old things, expect different results, which is a bit of a cliche saying that, but it's true, isn't it? So how do we fight scammers? How do I stop these people going to a 3-day seminar in Nevada, Las Vegas, and being preached to by a man that's been incarcerated for over 6 years, imprisoned wrongfully? Have you ever met someone who's been incarcerated and claims that it was done in fairness? So here's a guy that's been incarcerated for 6 years on a stage telling people that he's found a mine that no one was mining that's worth $15 billion. Claiming he's got influencers, 60, it was just absolutely amazing the claims that he made. We actually went through it the other day. How do I stop people who have invested 3 days of their time, who are too invested now to stop, thinking it's not true and genuine? How do we know how do we know who he's working for? Maybe he went to a scam convention himself and they pitched him a concept of a scammer. Who actually knows? Right. Can't take that phone call, Steve. Still live. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits for the day. Hope you enjoyed that. I won't break this off into a new video, but hopefully that was of interest to you and you enjoyed my video for today. And we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be some more goodies for you to know about Goliath Ventures. Now, all those people that are sitting on the fence and they're sitting on their hands, please wake up and do something about losing your money to Goliath Ventures. Stop waiting for miracles. See you in the next video.
Woo!